are live now via YouTube. Hello and good afternoon also to our online participants. Our Facebook participants might interact with us through the comment section. So this workshop will be from 1:30 until 4:30 in the afternoon. Okay, I'm Rolly Tan, Science Education Specialist of UP NISMED here at the UP here, no? And I will be the moderator for this workshop. Before we begin, just a gentle reminder for everyone, make sure you have signed the attendance sheet. So has everyone signed already? Okay na? Okay, and also during the entire workshop, please observe physical distancing and proper wearing of masks. Okay, so let me introduce now our distinguished resource persons and facilitator for this workshop. Okay, we have uh, Ma'am Rachel Patricia B. Ramirez. Okay, Rachel Patricia B. Ramirez is an assistant professor at the College of Education, University of the Philippines in Diliman. Before transferring to the college in 2022, she was a science teacher for 20 years at the University of the Philippines Integrated School or UPIS, the Laboratory School of the University of the Philippines College of Education, where she taught junior and senior high school Earth Science and Chemistry classes. She obtained her Bachelor of Science degree in 1995 and her MA in Education in 2007, both from the University of the Philippines in Diliman, where she is also completing her PhD in Education. Her research involvement includes teaching methods, educational assessment, and STEM education. She is also actively involved in teacher development programs such as training of non-chemistry majors, integration of learner-centered STEM in TVET, making TVL education learner-centered, and STEM Up to Step Up program for ALS teachers. Ma'am Hazel Joyce M. Ramirez is an assistant professor also at the UP College of Education. She is also an affiliate faculty at the Institute of Chemistry, UP Los Baños, designated as a research co-advisor for BS Chemistry and BS Agricultural Chemistry students pursuing chem education research for their thesis. Prior to her stint at UP Diliman, she was affiliated with UP Rural High School, which is the teaching laboratory school of UP Los Baños. She finished her BS Mathematics and Science Teaching major in chemistry at UP Los Baños, cum laude. She completed her Master of Arts in Education major in General Science at the University of the Philippines, Diliman with academic excellence and outstanding thesis awards. She is currently pursuing her PhD in chemistry education at the same university. She is also part of various extension projects funded by UP, DOST, UNICEF, ILO, and Dow Chemical Philippines. Moreover, she has been recognized for her research initiatives as she has received 3 international publication awards for her research articles in ISI Index and Scopus Index journals. Most recently, she received the 1 UP Faculty Grant Award for Outstanding Teaching and Public Service given by the University of the Philippines System. The next resource speaker is Mr. Magsayo, Mr. Melvin Magsayo. He has a master's degree in general science education and is currently pursuing a PhD in biology education at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. He serves as an advisory member for the Smithsonian Science Education Center Network for Emergent Socio-Scientific Thinking, contributing to reimagining of STEM education for a shared sustainable future through the lenses of emergence and complexity. With 15 years of teaching and program management experience and a passion for creating positive change through STEM education, Mr. Magsayo develops innovative approaches to enhance STEM learning experiences for lifelong learning. In 2019, he joined Unilab Foundation as a STEM education consultant leading various initiatives. From 2020 to 2023, Mr. Magsayo served as the Deputy Director of System, collaborating with government agencies, international and local NGOs, corporations, and foundations to co-create impactful education programs. His research interests focus on integrating indigenous knowledge and practices into the science curriculum, biodiversity education for sustainable development. And our facilitator for this workshop is Ms. Nora May Gareza. Uh, Ms. Nora May Gareza is the STEM in TVET and Green Agri Project Officer at the Center for Integrated STEM Education Incorporated, or CSTEM. She received her Bachelor of Science degree in Food Technology from the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, College of Agriculture and Food Science. Her professional teaching certification units were obtained from the UP Open University and taught chemistry and physics for more than 10 years before joining System in 2020. She is currently completing her master's thesis on generative AI at the UP College of Education as part of the Master of Arts in Education major in Physics Education program, where she has been a consistent university scholar since 2018, as well as a graduate scholarship qualifier for the Capacity Building Program in Science and Mathematics Education Program of DOST in 2020. Ms. Gareza's dedication to education and workforce development is evidenced by her active involvement in national workshops supported by DepEd BAE, TESDA, ILO, and UNICEF Philippines as a coach, resource person, LMS manager, and training facilitator. She was also invited as a plenary speaker at national conferences to share about building community capacity through an educational and sustainable urban agriculture approach. So I give now to Ms. Nora Megaresa who will facilitate this workshop. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for the generous introduction. Muli po, I am Mega Reza, the STEM and TVET Project Officer of System, and I've been in this STEM and TVET journey since 2020. And we are more than glad to share this afternoon with you na live because since 2020, we've been conducting workshops online. And I'm seeing familiar faces in the audience. Marami po kaming nakasama na sa aming mga previous workshops. So just to give you an overview of our workshop 3, so this workshop introduces the participants, the learner-centered dimensions of TVET, which emphasize the formation of VET identity, which will be covered by Sir Melvin, the connection between theory and practice, the learning by doing approach, the authenticity of tasks, coaching, and the development of regulatory and reflective skills, which later on will be shared by Prof. Hazel and Prof. Rachel Ramirez. The participants in the workshop will explore different learner-centered activities and assessments which are appropriate for the different TVET qualifications. So just to run through the objectives of the workshop, first, we will be analyzing the dimensions of learner-centered approaches that are relevant to your individual or your respective qualifications. And you will also demonstrate best TVET practices that demonstrate the learning by doing approach, theory-practice connection, task authenticity, and development of self-regulation and reflective skills that are suited for your TVET or TVL learners. Second to the last, you will explore learner-centered activities and assessments, and the end goal of this two-day workshop is to create your own sample learner-centered worksheets. So later on, you will be choosing your qualification na gagawan po ninyo ng inyong worksheet. So without further ado, let me pass on the microphone to our Executive Director, Mr. Melvin Agmagsayo. A round of applause, please.
Thank you very much, Ms. May. Maayong hapon, who are from the Visayas and Mindanao region. Meron po ba dito? Wala. So magandang hapon po. Good afternoon. I am Melvin Magsayo from the Center for Integrated STEM Education. Very quickly, because I'm only given 25 minutes for this session. So time starts now. Okay, so ayan, very quickly po. Sino po dito ang nasa teaching profession, nasa TVET profession for 0 to 5 years? Taas po. I mean, please stand to be properly recognized. 0 to 5 years. Ayan. Palakpakan po natin si Ma'am Solo. Nag-iisa. At meron pa dito sa likod. Ayan po. Good afternoon. Who among you here are already in the teaching profession for 6 to 10 years? Ayan po. Please stand po to be recognized. We have, ayan, bakit po nahihiya tayo? Ayan, ayan, okay po. Ayan, so thank you. How about those who are already in the TVET profession for 11 to 15 years? 15 years po, not 50. 15. Ayan, sir. Good afternoon po. And sino naman po yung more than 15 years in the teaching profession? Palakpakan po natin sila, sir. Sila po yung ating mga eksperto ngayong hapon. No? So, as mentioned earlier, I am given 25 minutes to somehow answer this question. How do we succeed in our quest for learner-centeredness? So you attended a workshop on making TVET learner-centered. And that's what we're going to answer starting today until tomorrow and when we go back to our respective schools. So when we talk about learner-centeredness, it means that regardless of the number of years of teaching experience you have, regardless of the specialization you are teaching, regardless of your expertise, we always put our learners at the center of everything. Nag-agree po ba tayo doon? Do we agree that we should always put the learners at the center of every teaching approach, methodologies, or pedagogies that we do or we use in the school or in our classrooms? And this notion gives us this statement that when we talk about learner-centered TVET, there is a focus on learner experience, and that should be a non-negotiable element of our teaching in the classroom or outside the classroom. Because probably some of you here are teaching or are, teaching outside the classroom. No? Before we conducted a workshop for the alternative learning system, and they have CLCs, no? Tinatawag natin na community learning centers. So that's an outside school setting. And so we would also like to highlight this formula. When we talk about learner-centered TVET, we always talk about this formula. This is our formula, which means that our teaching approaches should respond and should match to the unique needs of our learners. Ilan po yung mga estudyante natin sa classroom? 50? I was once a public school teacher, and I had 60 students in my class, and I have 5 classes. 5 sections po yun. No? Good thing I was teaching the same subject. Pero you can only imagine for some teachers who are handling 5 different sections with 5 different subject areas. Si sir, pataas na yung kamay. Ayan. So nakaka-relate po ba kayo dun, sir? No? So it's different. It's difficult. And somehow this statement, this formula would somehow challenge teachers. How can a teacher, ensure that my teaching approaches match and respond to the unique needs of my learners? And so this, in the next 25 minutes of my session, actually mga 23 minutes na lang, we're going to lay the groundwork for making learner-centered TVET by simply differentiating the interrelatedness of these 3 words or terms: experience, learning experience, and learning experience design. Ano po ba yung kaibahan ng tatlong ito? That those, by definition, these 3 terms are different, they are interrelated. Pag sinabi po nating experience, that is the foundation from which meaning-making and understanding emerge. And can you remember one theory that supports that statement? May naalala po ba tayong theory when we talk about this statement? No? So according to the experiential learning theory of David Cald, sinasabi po dito that our experiences, including cognition, the way we think, and even the environmental factors, and even our emotions, that influence the learning process. So the way our students think in the class, the way they behave in the class, the way they interact with people and with their environment, whether at home, in school, or in their community, that influence the learning process. And that this theory, sinasabi po na we can only say that there is effective learning if a person napagdadaanan lahat ng stages na to. So it starts with, alin po yung nauuna? Active experimentation. Nagkakaroon po ng abstract conceptualization. Nagkakaroon po ng reflective observation dun sa mga na-experience nila. And then later part in their life, they use those experiences, those analysis, those conclusions in their observations, and that will become their concrete experience. Now, what about, and I would just like to read this one. The learning theory suggests that not all experiences substantially enrich learning. Nag-agree po ba tayo? Hindi po lahat ng experiences, no? It substantially enriches learning. A person must go through all the fundamentals, experiencing a certain situation, nagre-reflect siya doon, so there's reflecting involved, nag-think siya, no? Kino-conceptualize niya yung experience na yon, yung observation na yon, yung reflection na yon, and from there, they act based on those reflections. We can only say that there's meaningful learning when a person goes through all these stages. And again, in a recursive process, in a repetitive manner. Now, what about learning experience? So when we say learning experience, it's any interaction. No, it can also be a course, a program that your schools or our schools are offering, or what you're teaching or doing in the classroom. Or it can also be any other experience in which learning takes place. Now, saan po ba nangyayari ang learning? It takes place in formal settings, whether it's school or in the classroom. That's the formal setting. And we talk about non-formal, ito po yung mga outside the school locations or community learning centers for the alternative learning system. And learning takes place also in traditional educational interactions. Ito yung student-teacher interaction, student-professor interaction. And for non-traditional interactions, that when our learners use gadgets, devices, softwares, or mobile games, and they learn from those. So that's an example of how learning experience happen in non-traditional interactions. And the third one, which will be facilitated by the other speakers this afternoon, is on learning experience design. So following the logic about the definition of what an experience is and what a learning experience is, we can somehow say that learning experience design is an intentional act, and that act will present students with a process of activities that is designed in a human-centered or human-centric manner. Meaning, yung dinidesign po natin na learning experience, understanding the concept of what experience is or what learning experience is, and how and when can we say that there's meaningful learning experience, nangyayari po when we design a learning experience that's very intentional. Intentional in a way that it's responsive to the actual need of your learners. So, paano po ba natin gagawin yung learner experience design that's really human-centered or human-centric? So, meron po tayong activity ngayong hapon. So, sino po dito yung nakagawa na ng learner or persona map? May experience na po ba tayong gumawa ng persona map? Tataas po yung kamay. No worries po, hindi po ito, wala pong penalty. Wala pa tayong experience. So good thing na wala pa kayong experience because we will experience that this afternoon. So si Miss May will be distributing yung tinatawag po natin na learner persona map. No? So ano po yung nakikita natin sa learner persona map? I need to go upstage kasi hindi po yung gumagana talaga to. Kaya sorry po. Ayan. Yan. So distribute muna natin, no? Yung learner persona map. So while Miss May is distributing the worksheet, I would just like to read this one. And you can react, you can share your insights, or if you agree or disagree to the statement. It says that the learner's ability to engage deeply in their learning is an outcome of the relationship between learners' unique identity and their learning environment. And ano po ba yung idea natin about our learners? So if you are dealing with ages 11 to 26 years old, sila po yung tinatawag natin na Gen Zs. May Gen Zs po ba dito? Meron po. Ayan, yung ating mga fassies. Oh, talaga ba? Ayan, may isang nagtaas ng kamay. Pero pang mag-ano ako doon, magdi-disagree. Kasi parang kabatch ko yon. No, but anyway, so we're currently dealing with learners who are, if you're dealing with students ages of from 11 to 26, they are the so-called Gen Zs. And according to a study about Gen Zs in Asia, over half of Gen Z in Asia are actually struggling mentally. And ano po yung nag-cause nun? Now, here are some potential threats to Gen Z's mind health. Number one, uncertainty about the future. And this is actually caused by the pandemic. No, the unprecedented disruptions that happened in 2019 and up to present, we're still experiencing the impact of the pandemic. And also lack of job skill fit. It was mentioned earlier during the panel discussion that there is an existing skill mismatch. That is why a lot of graduates are not absorbed in the industries because what they possess are not actually meeting the demands of the industry. And that's one of the things that our Gen Zs are actually experiencing now. They are afraid of that. That if I graduate or if I finish a TVET course, I will just skip that one and proceed to this slide. So there are 3 P's that I would like you to remember when you make your persona map. Number 1, make it personal. No? Write as much as possible, write the attributes, no, of your learners. Ano po yung mga characteristics nila? Number 2, precision. Be precise. Makikita po niyo dyan sa persona map yung different personal entrepreneurial competency skills. No? Ano po yung mga skills that they possess? Are they creative? Are they skeptical? Are they analytical learners? Try to list down those and also indicate in terms of their ability or capacity to analyze critically. Try to also circle or shade the circles there. And the third one is perspective. So we say perspective because when you write or when you describe your learner, please start with the I statement. No? So say for example, I am a 15-year-old learner of say what qualification. So that you really represent your learner when you make your persona map. It's not you, but you are actually representing your learner and indicating who you are as a learner now in the persona map. So we're doing this because we want to design pedagogies or say resources, learning resources that we can use in the classroom when we go back to our classrooms that are really anchored on our learners' needs. And that's the only way that we can make TVET learner centered by first understanding who we are trying to serve, who we are trying to teach. Are you ready to do that persona map? Ready na po ba tayo? So time check, it's 2 p.m. So I will give you 10 minutes to complete no, the persona map. So I mentioned earlier, make it personal, be precise with what are the specific skills that your learners have. Ito yung mga attributes nila, ito yung mga characteristics nila, ito yung mga skills that they have. And of course, perspective. Consider that. Try to write no, the attributes of your learner using it should start with an I word. Kasi kayo po yun. So make it personal. Name of learner. Pangalanan po natin. So balikan po natin si learner, ma'am and sir. Mamili tayo ng isang learner ngayon. Sino yung nag-stand out? No? So discuss, I know you are from different regions or probably different schools, but somehow mamili kayo, mag-agree kayo as a group as to who you will choose. Sino po yung mag-represent ninyo ngayong hapon? Okay? So let's do that for 10 minutes. Just raise your hand if you have any questions. So nakalagay din po dyan yung mga career aspirations. No? Be precise with their career aspirations. Be precise with the potential jobs na pwede nilang makuha when they complete or when they finish, say for example, a training in TVET. And most importantly, also indicate their accessibility requirements. Ito yung tinatawag natin na accessibility requirements. Meaning, what will I need, what will I require for me to reach my aspirations, for me to reach my potential job? So again, make it personal by starting with an I.
Hindi kahit basic itsura lang ng tao yun.
natin sa learner. Perfect. So we're down to drawing a representation of that learner, no? Make a representative image. Not an icon, not a smiley if possible. Okay, as much as possible po, wag naman po yung smiley. Pwede naman, pero bigyan po natin siya ng image. No, katawan, probably. Ayan. So you try to, again, be personal. No, make it personal. No need po. So, because we're pressed for time, you can identify five. Yan po. Sorry if I didn't mention it earlier, but because we're pressed for time, you can just mention five personal entrepreneurial competency skills. And of course, don't forget to indicate in terms of their personal entrepreneurial competency skills, the level, whether you're going to rate it from low to high. Ayan po. And as mentioned earlier, one of the P's that we need to remember when we are doing a persona map, make it personal. So you're going to draw a representative image of your learner. Again po, of your learner. And probably a short description, no, under the about me part of the persona map.
Yes po. Ah, okay.
May top 10 lang po. May top 10.
So, ibig sabihin po yung first.
Yeah, opportunity seeking, opportunity to work. Write or identify five personal entrepreneurial competency skills and rate your learner that you have chosen, no, from low to high in terms of their competency skill. Time, probably we can just have one volunteer, a group, to present their output for 3 minutes only. Ayan. For 3 minutes po. Ayan. Quick sharing of their output. Yes, and once you're done, you may post your output on the whiteboard at your back. Yan po, sa likod po, pwede po nating i-post dyan yung ating TVET learner persona. So, what group is this? Anong group po tayo? Wala. So, once you're done with your persona map, you may post it on the And this time, now I asked you earlier to identify and list down the personal entrepreneurial competence skills of your chosen learner. You try to verify now, counter-check, yung mga nasulat po ba natin na competence skills are found on the list of pecs that can be seen, no, na makikita po sa material na ibibigay sa inyo ngayon. Try to counter-check lang if present po yon. So what you are going to receive are the top 10 personal entrepreneurial competence skills, no, as identified in this brochure. So try to counter-check, no, kung may similarities po yung na-identify ninyo na skills dun sa top 10 entrepreneurial competence skills. Ayan. So meron po ba tayong nasulat na wala po dun sa top 10? And that's okay po. That's okay. Ayan. Meron po ba tayong nasulat na identified as top 10 pecs? Or meron po ba tayong mga bago na nakita? Meron? Ilan po sa 10? Ilan po yung napasulat po ninyo? Persistence? Yan. Very good po. Very good yung group na to ah. Mhm. Mhm. So again po, for those who are done, you may post your output now sa ating dun po sa ating whiteboard. So this time, I would like to ask one volunteer group to share their output. For 3 minutes lang po. Very strict po tayo sa time. May fines po ata pag nag-exceed. Papaluin po ba? Ayan po. Let's post it na po sa wall. How about the other groups? Ayan. And last 2 minutes po to wrap up. Last 2 minutes. Let's try to wrap up po our persona map. Meron po ba sa ating participants si Sir Alvin Kulanag? Si Sir Alvin and Ma'am Noemi Bulan. Andito po ba sila? Are they here? Wala po, wala po. Okay. Yung car po ata nila nakabara. Kung kilala niyo po sila, pa-message po. Ayan po. So let's post our persona map. And we already have a volunteer group. Volunturo po pala yun. Dahil sila po yung naunang mag-post. So we're going to ask them, request them, no, if they can share with us for 3 minutes their persona map. Ayan po. So hintayin lang po muna natin yung other groups na ma-post po nila, and then we will ask one group member to share. No? Please post your output. And this time we'll ask this group, the group representative, to please approach your output and present your group output for 3 minutes. Salamat po.
Okay, good afternoon, each and everyone po. So this is the collaborative effort of our group, and I'm going to represent as Juan de la Cruz. So I am Juan de la Cruz. Probably you're wondering why we're able to come up with an image of piggy bank. So in a piggy bank, in our as a Juan de la Cruz, I will invest some of the skills that I need to become a professional agricultural engineer in the future. Hindi po money ang i-invest namin dito, kundi we'll invest effort, skills in order to become a successful agricultural engineer, to make it unique. Okay? So about me, I am a 17 years old learner that can be describe myself as a dynamic person. I grew up in a farm and sometimes go to the city. I want to apply computer to agriculture. Okay, so these are the personal and entrepreneurial competencies that we were able to identify. So we're asked to identify at least 5. So we have the persistence, check kami doon. Risk taker or risk taking, check din kami doon. So systematic planning, problem solver or problem solving, and creativity. So in the future, I want to become an successful agricultural engineer. And these are the potential jobs na nakikita ko in the future. An agriculturist or a consultant in a big farm, not only in the Philippines, but of course, mangangarap na rin ako to have a greener pasture, especially in New Zealand, Japan, wherein agriculturists are very in demand and with a good salary, no? Okay? Become a researcher at the same time. A farmer to manage my own farm, of course, to apply what I learned. And then a farm technician, as well as a farm manager to manage my own farm. Okay, so what are the unique needs, or these are the skills that I need to in order to become an agricultural engineer in the future? First, of course, I need ICT, because we are now in the 21st century. We really need ICT, or by the use of the technology. So ICT skills is very important. I need also materials and equipment and other resources. Okay, and well, of course, moral support, that is very important. So this morning, we were identified the lagging. What is the lagging? No, ang hirap yatang identify. Without the support, of course, you will not succeed. No matter how good the program is, without the support, you cannot implement. And the last one, of course, financial. That is very important also. So that's all. Good afternoon, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your girl output. It's a very nice, though the piggy bank is not really, not directly representing the learner, who is Juan de la Cruz, but what we can do as TVET trainers, as teachers, and probably you are able to identify the unique needs for them, for Juan de la Cruz to achieve what he aspires to become an agriculture engineer. And I think it's a very good representation of what organizations, what teachers, and what the government can offer and can do to make sure that their aspirations are supported and they will be able to achieve those. So thank you. Again, we're pressed for time, so we cannot request all the groups to present their output, but congratulations. As individuals. And number three, it helps us to consistently learn to become learner-centered. And my session is just laying the groundwork of what will happen in the next sessions. Because again, my session was focusing on identifying the attributes, the characteristics, understanding who we are teaching, who are we dealing with. And in the next session, which will be facilitated by Ma'am Hazel and Ma'am Rachel, they will give you strategies and tools. Now that you know your learners, you know their aspirations, you know what they want to become after your TVET training, what can we do to achieve that? And that will help us to answer the question, how can we succeed in our quest in learner-centered TVET? And so allow me to end the session by telling you that learner-centered design is intentional and kailangan po nating ilabas, no, yung tinatawag natin na empathy. Kaya I asked you earlier to write the attributes, their aspirations of your learners by starting with an I, because you were wearing the shoes of your learners. You're wearing their experiences. You are representing their stories in the field as their teachers. And we know that empathy is about sensing others, feelings, and perspectives. And of course, we need to be compassionate. No? When we talk about compassionate empathy, you are actually taking action. So you feel for them, you feel for their needs, you feel for their aspirations, but dapat hindi doon nag-end. It's about really taking action on what they aspire, no? To who they want to become in the future. And so, again, it may not work easily, but you can actually work it out as teachers. We can practice it, and in the next session, you will learn more about how you make TVET learner-centered. So let me end with that slide. We'll be sharing with you the materials, no, that we prepared, so we'll be able to go back to those slides and review and share this material with your colleagues so that hindi po tayo nag-iisa in achieving learner-centered TVET. So maraming salamat po for your attention and for participating in my short session.
modeling and coaching, and then we'll end with self-regulation and reflective skills. Okay. So, tatlong activity yung gagawin natin. Okay, pero madali lang. Okay, so we start with the first one. Miss May will give you your materials. So, ang laman ng plastic na yan ay mga puzzle pieces. So dapat, ang bawat isa sa inyo ay meron kayong 4 na iba't ibang shape. Alright. Okay. So, syempre, dahil mga puzzle pieces yan, okay, it's a 4-piece puzzle, and ang inyong objective ay gumawa ng square. Pag kayo ay nakatapos na sa buong grupo, then taas ang kamay or kung meron na kayong naisip na cheer, para alam ko kung sino yung unang nakatapos na group. So we have 8 groups. So there are 6 pieces of each shape. So sa mga 4 na iba't ibang shape. And then the objective is for you to make a square. Okay, so you have 2 minutes. O baka matapos nyo in 1 minute. Pero dapat lahat kayo nakatapos ha in your group. Okay, taas ang kamay kapag may nakatapos na, pag may group cheer. Asan yon? Saan po yung nauna? Meron nang nauna? Okay, kayo po tapos na? Ayan. Okay. Nauna po sila. Ay, hindi po. Lahat kayo dapat kanya-kanyang gawa. 4. Ilan po kayo? 5 po kayo. Ilan po yung nagawa nyo? Asan po? Okay. Nakalima naman po sila. Ayan, congratulations. Okay, let us see. 4. Ayan, may square sila. Okay. Ito na lang daw sa'yo, ma'am. Huli. Okay, nahuli. Okay, meron po kayo, bawat isa meron. Okay, great. Ayan. Okay, so everyone merong puzzle. Ngayon ang question, anong kinalaman yan dun sa pag-uusapan natin ngayong hapon? Okay, so bago yan, tanong ko muna, how was the experience? Was it very easy? Difficult? When you received it, alam niyo na ba kaagad kung anong gagawin? When you receive the puzzle pieces, alam niyo ang gagawin? Hindi. Sino yung may ibang sagot? Pag nakakita kayo ng mga puzzle pieces dyan, ano yung unang naiisip mo? Bubuuin. Alam niyo na kaagad na meron kayong bubuuin. Diba? Okay. Pero tingnan natin, yung mga nasa online natin, kasi ang nakita lang nila picture. Diba? Picture lang. So, sa mga nasa online natin, so you think, was it easy na makabuo ng ganyan by just looking at it? Pero ba tayo sa ating online participants? How would your experience change if instead of doing it, okay, with the puzzle pieces, as opposed to just looking at it dun sa ating screen? Meron po bang sumasagot from our online participants? Hindi daw po. Okay, mahirap siya kasi tinitingnan mo lang. Alright, okay. So, ngayon, ang question is, paano yan natin marerelate sa ating teaching practice? For example, yung pinakita mo lang versus pinagawa mo. Any ideas? I-connect natin yan sa teaching practice natin. We're comparing here one practice na ipapakita mo lang and then the other one, pinagawa mo. Yes, sir. Ayun pa.
Again, for the part na siyempre may ginagalaw yung bata, so mas engaged siya dun sa gagawin. So mas motivated siyang mag-participate.
Yeah, ayan, isa pa. Okay, meron pa bang ibang sagot? Yes, sir.
Since they did not master yet the way how they create, so it will encourage them creativeness.
Yes, okay. Later, titingnan natin kung meron bang makakabuo dito ng ibang shape naman para makita natin kung may creativity tayo. Okay. So, kino-compare natin yung actual na gagawin at saka yung pinapanood lang natin. Sometimes, as a teacher, you can choose active ba yung learners mo or passive sila. Napapakinggan lang nila or papanoorin yung gagawin. Alright. So, kahit na walang detailed instructions, actually, you already know what to do. Okay? And then, aside from that, nakita ninyo yung mga connections. Paano nakita na may mga connections yung mga shapes na yan? Ano yung naging basis nyo? Yung shape. Okay, yung shape. Okay. So, ang focus natin dito, okay, ay tingnan kung halimbawa sa teaching practice natin, ano yung mga components kaya ng inyong mga puzzle pieces. When you look at your teaching practice, ano yung mga possible na components yan? So, kunyari, you're making a lesson plan. You have somehow puzzle pieces, right, that you put together. So, ano yung mga components na yun? Yes, sir.
There should be alignment. Sorry po, good afternoon po sa ating lahat. There should be alignment of the objectives, the methodologies, the materials, and of course, the assessment in order for the learner and the teacher alike to achieve the objective that was set and for the learners to be guided on how they will going to accomplish the set objectives, ma'am.
Right, okay. So may components ka that you put together, kailangan merong connections yung mga yon para maging buo ang iyong lesson. Okay. So another example is, yung nabanggit na natin, I think you mentioned this already, may activity ka, may mag-a-analyze ang mga students mo, abstraction, mag-generalize sila, and then of course, it should not stay within the classroom, i-apply mo na sa ibang situations. Okay, so kanina narinig na natin yung learning through experience from Sir Melvin, analyzing it, generalizing, and then applying new knowledge. That's one way of looking at it, yung ating mga puzzle pieces. Another way would be, as mentioned by Sir, ito naman yung mga activities, assessment, objectives, and materials. Okay, and for teachers, these components are intuitive. Parang alam na natin na hindi pwedeng materials lang. Dapat matatapos ka hanggang dun sa assessment. In fact, when we design our lessons, like we're trying to tell a story. So there's a beginning and there is a clear end, okay, sa ating lesson. All right. So you can also look at it sa ating mga sa STEM, no? The puzzle pieces can be any of the four. Pwedeng science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Now, we're trying to apply this now to STEM in TVET. Okay. So, ang next question ko ngayon is, ano yung STEM sa inyong qualification? May science ba? Saan doon? May technology ba sa inyong qualification? Meron bang engineering doon? Meron bang mathematics? Kasi we're trying to integrate STEM in TVET, right? So, anong part ng TVET ang may science, may technology, engineering, or mathematics? Any ideas? Anong example? Specific examples. Yes, sir.
So if we are talking about TVET, the specialization that we have undergo with science, technology, even mathematics, which falls into engineering, because we are undergo with the mensuration and calculations, safety precautions, and also the integrations of technology, which is a product of research actually. So, doon po talaga nag-integrate lahat po yan sa TVET.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, other ideas? Yes, sir.
For example, in a certain qualification like agricultural crop production, of course, we are integrating science there because we want it to become systematic. It's research and data-driven. Aside from that, technology is being used to enhance the experience of the learner and at the same time the access to new technology to make farming more modern. Engineering in a sense that we want everything to become smooth in its process. Mathematics just because we have mensuration and calculation in all aspects. We want that our data are precise or accurate. And of course, all of those when we sum it up, it makes the qualification more modernized, more competent, and globally competitive.
Ayan, thank you very much, sir. I'm asking this kasi syempre madaling sabihin ang STEM, parang lahat na lang narinig natin STEM, but nasan siya doon? If you're designing your lessons now, nasaan ang S doon, nasaan ang T, nasaan ang E, nasaan ang M? Yes, sir.
When we integrate STEM in TVET qualification, we do the contextual learning matrix, which is a tool on how to evaluate certain qualification. So not all qualification has STEM. So if you evaluate the element or the learning outcomes, then that's the time doing the CLM. So isa-isa doon, titignan mo kung may science, but not all qualification has STEM. So there are certain qualification that STEM is, we can say nandun lahat, but other qualification, it has science, but it has no technology, or it may be there are science and technology, but there are no mathematics. We also, aside from STEM, we in the CLM, we put also the environment and God. So, kompleto na siya. Hindi lang po siya sa STEM.
But what is important is you can identify, no? And then matutukoy ninyo kung nasaan yung science, teaching, engineering, and mathematics doon sa inyong training qualifications. Okay. So ngayon, ang focus natin is actually yung mga connections. Yung first activity natin, it tells us a lot about the importance of connections. Halimbawa, you link delivery modes to teaching. Nung nag-pandemic, anong ginawa natin? Hindi pakapasok ang mga bata sa ating learning center sa school. So we have to do something about it. So merong kailangang link, okay, yung ating mga learning materials with our learners, with our students. Another one na mention din kanina umaga, meron daw mismatch dun sa skills, sa industry needs. So ibig sabihin, walang connection doon. So we have to do something about it. At nakikita natin yon as one problem. Okay, so, okay. So again, just to emphasize, you link the previous knowledge to new ones, yung mga bagong experiences nila. And then this new knowledge and skills, kailangan lumabas mula sa classroom natin at ma-apply nila yon sa iba pang mga sitwasyon. How do we do that? Okay, so in TVET, of course, very important yung performance-based assessment para makikita natin kung nagawa nga talaga nila, natutunan nila yung skill. We can do field work, we can do work immersion, we can do apprenticeship, we can do site visit. And this one, actually hindi lang naman sa TVET yon or sa TVL, kahit sa mga, sa lahat ng educational institutions. And this is very important. So, ang ang tinutumbok nito is actually paano mo i-connect yung pinag-aaralan sa classroom, the theories, to the practice. Okay, so essentially, the theory-practice connection tells us that what happens in the classroom and all other learning experiences are connected together. At ang dulo nito will be for the learner. Okay, theoretical knowledge is applied in practical tasks. So that's theory connection. That's one important dimension of learner-centered TVET. Okay, ngayon, yung next naman natin, you have 4 pieces, right? Paano kung dadagdagan ko ng isa pang piece yan? Now you're going to have a 5-piece puzzle. And again, the objective is for you to make a square. So you're going to add 1 more piece. So you have 5 pieces now. At meron kayong square na idadagdag. So again, katulad nung kanina, dapat lahat ng members ng group ay nakagawa ng kani-kanilang square. So there are 5 members in your group, dapat 5 yon. Okay. So ibang kulay yung square natin just to make sure na naka-integrate siya dun sa 4 pieces nyo kanina. So you have 4 minutes. Okay, kailangan ba ng clue? 5 pieces na yan. Tapos pag kunyari, linggo na ng umaga, nandito pa tayo. Magsabi po kayo, ha? Sige, kailangan ba ng clue? Okay, bigyan ko kayo ng clue. Yan. So ilagay nyo daw sa corner yung bagong piece. Square. Kaya naman today, di ba? Another clue ba? Uy, meron na. Practice lang daw. O, sige, another clue. Clue number 2. Yon. Ayan. Okay. 5 piraso po ba yan? 5. Yan. 5 pieces. Okay, antayin natin yung iba. Okay, dahil medyo mas mahirap, yung next 2, meron ding konting premyo. So yung cheer ha, pag nakatapos kayong lahat sa inyong group. Hindi pa sir, di pa uwian. Meron pa akong ilang minutes. Yun. Malapit na. 5 na po. Okay, yung cheer ha. Pag meron na, Go. Yun. Okay, cheer. Okay, yan. Meron pang isa. Okay, tingnan nyo yun. Nakadalawang clue na tayo, ha? Apat daw. 5 piraso lang yan. Yan. Alright, last na lang. Isa na lang. 5 piraso po ba? Okay. Nauna po sila. Ayan, nauna po sila. Sorry po. Kailangan meron kayong 4 pieces. Alright. Okay. So ngayon, balik tayo doon. How did you find the activity? Ano yung naging strategy nyo? Sino yung nauna? Nandaya daw. Sino yung nauna na group? Ano yung strategy nyo? Bakit ang bilis? Yes, sir.
Hello. Yeah, since nadagdagan yung piece, so I assume na madadagdagan din yung measurement ng side. Yun po.
Okay.
So, yun lang yung una kong hinanap. Yung additional
Okay.
extension ng measurement of the side. And then, saan sila magmi-meet na common yung 4 sides. Ganun po yun.
Para maging regular yung shape
Apo.
niya. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, yung iba naman, paano yung naging strategy nyo? Anyone wants to share? Yes po.
Sa amin naman po, tiningnan namin yung connect, yung parang kumako-connect ang bawat side para makabuo ang nabuo ng yung target namin, ang goal namin makabuo ng square. Tingnan namin yung connection ng bawat side ng figure per piece.
Yan. Alright. Okay. So, ang next question ngayon ay, paano naman natin i-connect sa ating teaching practice ulit? Kasi that's just an analogy, no? Of what happens sa ating classroom in our, in preparing for our lessons, in our teaching. So, meron bang pagkakapareho niyan sa teaching practice natin? Sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, definitely there is. Just like yun po kanina, no, yung pinresent yung kanina about the connection of 4 elements in teaching, like the objective, materials, assessment, and the activities. Assuming that this additional piece is the ICT integration
Yeah.
or the STEM in TVE, TVET. So we should be able to know and to be able to facilitate in case that there will be some necessary adjustment for the improvement of the teaching and learning practices in a daily basis. For example, we should know how to adapt
Yes.
and without affecting the target, which is the perfect square.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, sir. So parang idadagdag mo siya, but still yung objective mo is to make it whole, no? Ibig sabihin, you will look for its place doon sa whole scheme of things. Parang ganun po. Alright. Okay. So, ito na yung ating final para doon sa mga nasa, online, no? Again, yung question natin is, ano naman yung mga puzzle pieces? Kanina na-mention na ni sir, katulad siya nung nauna kanina na 4, but you're just trying to add 1 more parang dimension. Okay, and then the additional piece may be, for example, si sir sabi niya ICT, or pwede din namang sa STEM, no? Na idadagdag natin, integrate natin sa TVET. Okay, now, so for this second activity, ang focus naman natin ngayon is yung ating mga students. Kasi year in, year out, hindi naman nababago. Well, hindi masyado namang nababago yung mga materials natin, right? Yung mga facilities, minsan may dumadating na bagong facilities, but essentially pareho lang naman. Okay, pero ano yung nababago? Year in, year out. estudyante. Okay, yung mga students natin. And then yung mga nakalagay doon, yun na yung mga persona map ninyo. Nasabi na kanina ni Sir Melvin, mga digital natives sila. Gusto nila i-google nila lahat. Kung gusto nilang matuto ng bagong skill, nag-YouTube sila. Very short ang kanilang attention span. So hindi pwedeng mag-lecture tayo ng 1-2 oras kasi hindi na sila makikinig. Tapos gusto nilang maging entrepreneur. Ngayon pa lang may kanya-kanya na silang mga YouTube channel o kaya mga binebenta na they earn something from it. And aside from that, one other characteristic of the Gen Z, yung mga learners natin ay parang gusto nila kung ano man yung natututunan nila ngayon, magagamit nila in the future. Okay? So parang iniipon talaga yung mga experiences nila. At hindi na sapat yung nanonood lang sila sa videos, pero mas gusto nila na dadalhin natin sila doon sa site, dadalhin natin sila, may work immersion sila, meron silang apprenticeship. Okay. So ito yung mga students, okay, na dumadating sa atin. Then, of course, nabanggit na ni Sir kanina yung pangalawang dimension natin, which is yung to adapt. No? So, this is actually about adaptive instruction. Okay? Essentially, we want to adapt our teaching to the kind of learners that we have. Okay? So, kanina, kaya yun yung unang activity ninyo. Sino yung estudyante mo? Okay? Kasi, i-adapt mo yun, yung teaching mo, doon sa klase ng student na darating sa iyong klase. So, ano yung sa tingin ninyo ang mga ginagawa nating ways in which we adapt our teaching? Mga examples. Paano natin binabago or ina-adapt? Iba rin yung differentiated kasi parang pag differentiated, parang ibang ginagawa ng bawat isa. Okay, but this time kasi if you have like 60 students, hindi pwedeng 60 activities ang gagawin. But you still can do something, no? Para ma-accommodate yung needs, ma-consider mo yung mga skills at current na knowledge ng inyong mga students. How do you do that in your classes? Anyone? Yes, sir.
Hello po. Ayan, I currently teach po in a science high school. Tapos yung mga bata doon, mabilis po silang, good readers po sila. So ang ginagawa ko po, kaysa sa school kami mag-lecture, bibigay ko yung babasahin nila sa bahay. Flip classroom po, parang ganun. Then, pagdating nila sa school, actually po, pag nagpapalaboratory ako, ang ginagawa ko lang sa kanila, bibigay ko yung laboratory sheet, gagawa sila ng pre-lab report. Tapos sila na po kumikilos mula pagpapa-reserve ng gamit hanggang sa paggawa ng post-lab. So, ibig sabihin po, na-elevate ko po yung dahil may profile ako kung ano yung kayang gawin ng mga bata ko. So, ganun po. Natatasan ko po yung level and difficulty po ng mga.
Right. Yun din characteristic nila, they want to take charge of their own learning. 'Di ba? Parang medyo, siguro yung mga kapanahunan natin ay hindi natin kaya yung ganon. Okay, na parang kailangan nating sumunod sa sasabihin, very structured. But for our learners now, iba na. Okay, kasi meron din naman silang mga bagong mga skills na, and yes, sabi nga ni Sir, mga self-learner sila. Other ideas po, yes, sir?
Consider that everyone in our class is a part of our big goal. Be constructive that each must have their own share to make the goal.
Yes, okay. Meron silang, sa term ng mga millennial, meron silang ambag. Okay. Okay, other ideas? Yes, sir.
So I think in terms of adaptive instructions in the public school settings, so we cannot see the homogeneous group of our learners. So there's always a difference between yung talagang mahina. Let's say the group, no? It's not mahina, no? The group of the learners which we define as kinesthetic, visuals, and auditory. Now, so we can use these adaptive instructions in terms of designing the groupings that we should not magagamit natin yung learner's map na ginawa natin so that we can place them in one group to be complete. Now, if that is a very advanced lessons, for example, they can easily to cope up with the lessons. I think let's go out in the classroom. Let's make a design ng lessons that doon not sa environment, no, medyo advanced tayo, doon na papasok yung tinatawag nating transforming the lessons into the other. So next level na po yan.
Ayan, okay. Na-mention na rin ni Sir kanina, we have to provide support to our students. Okay. So balikan lang natin kanina yung activity. Okay. Nakatulong ba yung binigay ko na clue? Nakatulong siya, di ba? So how do you now connect that with providing support sa ating students? Ano usually yung pino-provide nating support sa kanila? Scaffolding. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Paano natin ginagawa yon? It's like if there's a big task, parang you try to break it down into more manageable parts. Okay, kasi that one you can do as a teacher, di ba? Or in some other siguro lessons, pwedeng instead na medyo complicated na equipment ang gagamitin, pwedeng yung mga mas simple na equipments muna ang ibibigay natin. Okay, so that is scaffolding. But there's actually two that we can do. Okay, na-mention na kanina. And this is yung ating modeling and coaching. Okay, and these two provide support. Now, ang question ko, kung pareho sila nagpro-provide support, how do they differ naman? Same lang ba yung modeling sa coaching? What do you think? Yung scaffolding kasi you're just trying to make things easier sa kanila. But this one we can do as teachers. Anong kaibahan ng modeling sa coaching? Or pareho ba sila?
On our point of view, ma'am, there's a difference between modeling and coaching. When we talk of modeling, it's demonstrating how the process goes, and the learners will going to observe, and finally later on they could have a return demonstration if they really learn the skill. When we talk of coaching, you are guiding them step by step, and learners are doing it and discovering things. And in the end, you will be accomplishing your goal as a teacher and them as learner.
Right. Okay. So usually nakikita natin pag nagmo-model, si teacher yung nandun sa harap. Pinapakita niya how it is done step by step. Usually pag nagko-coach tayo, parang okay, yung nasa sentro yung bata na. Tapos tinutulungan mo lang siya, nagbibigay ka ng mga prompts. Okay, that is yung ating modeling and coaching. Okay, so differentiate lang natin like what Sir described earlier. You have modeling, yung teacher ang gagawa ng task, manonood yung student, and then later nagpapa-return demo. Okay, para ma-check kung nakuha nila yung skills. Sa coaching naman, you give suggestions, your hints, yung mga feedback. But for these two, ang mahalaga dito is for us as teachers to make the expectations clear. Okay, from the very start. Okay, so halimbawa, bago ka mag-start ng demo mo, alam nila na magtatawag ka later on, tas gagawin nila ito. Okay? So, one, make the expectations clear, and one thing that is, I think, more important is to allow them to comfortably attempt to complete the task. Minsan kasi mas madali ako lang gagawa. Kasi tagal-tagal. Pero hindi sila natuto nun. Ikaw yung gumawa eh. Okay? So again, it's important na comfortable sila na tatapusin nila yung task. Now, some might not be successful. Meron pa namang ibang araw. Diba? Para at least nag-attempt sila ngayon, sa susunod na attempt, siguro naman ay makukumpleto na nila yung kanilang tasks. Okay. So that's the second already, which is adaptive instruction, modeling, and coaching. Alright. Okay. Now, next, meron pa ulit tayong papagawa dyan sa inyong 5-piece puzzle. This time, I want you to make, hindi na siya regular shape. Kung ano yung gusto nyong gawin dyan. Gagawa kayo ng bagong shape or parang scenery and then describe to me, ano yon? Describe to us, ano yon? Using all the 5 pieces ulit ha. So you can make your own shape. Kung kanina meron tayong collaborative work, pwede pa rin naman ngayon dito, but try to do it on your own. Ano yung mga shape na pwede ninyong gawin? And then just describe to us, ano kaya yung shape na yun? What does it signify? Yan. What new shapes can be made? What scenes can be depicted? For example, ito yung ginawa ko. Yan. So, dati, doon sa elementary, pag magpapadrawing sa school, palaging merong dalawang bundok, sa pagitan ng dalawang bundok, merong araw na may race, tapos sa bandang harap, may bahay kubo, tapos merong tree, tapos merong palayan. Parang palaging ganun yung drawing. Okay? And it brings me back to my memories ng LM. Pero sa inyo, ano yung mga scenes or shape? So kung meron ng ready, please raise your hand. Describe to us kung ano yung bagong shape mo. Sir, meron ka na. Ano yan, sir? Can we have 3 representatives might want to share their work? Ma'am, ano po yan?
Sa nabuo kong shape, it's like yung paper boat na ginagawa natin noong unang panahon. Ayun po. I thank you, ma'am. Wow.
Okay, meron pa ba? Kung para sa inyo yan, okay, wala namang magtatanong kung bakit. Yes, ma'am, meron.
Mga building po, tapos pyramid. Iba-ibang shape ng building.
Iba-ibang shape na building. O, yun. So, nakikita niya yun. So, shape niya yun. Ayan, isa pa. Yes, sir.
I made another shape which is arrow that can point it to any directions.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Ayan. Okay, now, again, we go back to our question. How was the experience? How is this different from the first two? Paano na iba ngayon yung activity natin from the first two? Yes.
The activity is more relaxed because the students have the freedom to form their own figure.
Okay, kanina na-mention yung creativity, no? So parang pag sinabi ni ma'am na building yan, hindi tayo magtatanong doon. Sabi niya, building yon eh. So that's good. Okay, other ideas, how is this different from the first two? O sige, was this easier or more difficult than yung kanina? Easier? Okay. So, sometimes, dun sa classes natin, no, there are things na, kasi iba-iba nga ang characteristic ng mga students natin. Some of them might find some activities easy, others might find them difficult. Okay? No? But still, as teachers, kasi parang we allow them, parang we give considerations. Sabi nga natin kanina, we adapt our instruction, no? But kung ano man yung difficulty na nararanasan nila sa klase, pwede kasing mag-extend yon beyond our classroom, right? So, meron pa tayong pwedeng itulong sa kanila para mas padali, okay, nilang masagot o kaya naman kung difficult na material yon, ano yung pwede nating i-extend sa mga students natin para mas maging madali at matatapos nila yung task. Okay. So, and this is where self-regulation comes in. Okay. So, kung meron tayong mga goals, okay, halimbawa, yung isang goal natin kanina na mahirap, yung idadagdag natin yung square dun sa 5. Medyo mahirap yon, di ba? So, sa mga classes natin, some of our students also experience that. na meron silang mga difficulties. So we can help them, okay, but by teaching them also self-regulation. And that is the another dimension of learner-centered TVET. All right. Okay, so ito yung ating 5. So you have the same question kanina. And then, okay, there are 6 things, okay, na pwede nating may tulong sa kanila. Number 1, of course, is goal setting. Yung mga self-regulated learners, they know kung ano yung kaya nilang i-accomplish. Okay. Pangalawa, we can teach them how to plan. With this amount of time, nandiyan na yung final exam, paano mo i-manage yung time mo, hihati-hatiin yung mga kailangan mong aralin para ready ka pagdating ng exam na to. That's the second one, planning. The third one is attention control. Parang madaling distract, di ba? Pag nakarinig ka ng K-pop music, minsan, nakikinig ka na lang. O kaya naman merong advertisement ng K-pop drama, minsan nandun ka na. Okay, but attention control is one important skill, okay, under self-regulation. So try to help them clear their mind from distractions. And then the fourth one is application of learning strategies. Merong mga reading time na parang casual reading. Pero meron yung time na reading na kailangan tutok na tutok ka sa binabasa mo. So self-regulated learners also know the difference doon. Kung kailan chill lang yung reading at kung kailan seryoso yung reading time. So they know how to apply varied learning strategies. And then the fifth one is, of course, self-monitoring. So pwedeng ito dapat yung ma-cover ko pero hindi ko natapos itong aralin. So ano yung kailangan kong gawin? Okay, so that one is under self-monitoring. And of course, kailangan magbago siya ngayon ng strategy. So, yung mga strategies na pwede nilang gamitin, pwedeng galing sa atin at may tuturo natin yun sa kanila. And then, of course, the last one would be self-evaluation. Okay? And this is when they can determine whether, okay, what they have learned is sufficient. Depende dun sa goal na sinet ng mga students natin. All right. So, just to describe, this is the fourth, aside from yung VET identity, theory-practice connection, adaptive instruction, this is the fourth, self-regulation and reflection. Okay. So, we want to provide them opportunities to learn without our assistance because I think that is the goal of it all. Hindi sila forever nasa school. Gagraduate sila. Pag graduate sila, dapat as teachers, alam natin, kaya na nila yon. Okay? Kaya tinuturuan natin habang sila ay nasa school pa. So objective is, dahan-dahan, i-reduce natin yung support hanggang kaya na nilang gawin on their own. Okay? To practice learning with little or no help. Yan. And then, the last one is actually an example of a learner-centered activity. And this is, I just want to share this with you again for the workshop tomorrow. This is an example of a learner-centered activity. And this is one activity that we can do to help our students reflect on their learning. So ang tawag natin dito ay compass points reflection. Bakit siya compass points? Okay, kasi yung mga questions natin, we ask them, okay, ano yung mga kailangan or gusto pa nilang malaman about a particular topic. So that's for letter N. For letter E, ano yung nakaka-excite sa'yo, okay, about this particular topic. But it's also important to find out ano yung parang worrisome pa. So ibig sabihin, hindi pa sure. Okay. And then the last one is ano yung mga suggestions mo, ano yung next step, ano yung current stance mo on this topic. So this one is one example of a learner-centered activity for reflection. And for the other dimensions, merong examples na ibibigay din sa atin bukas, okay, for the workshop. But this is just one. Okay. So now we have covered the last one, which is development of self-regulation, self-regulation skills, and reflection. Now, I just want to end this, medyo na-extend ako ng 6 minutes, about just to emphasize the guiding principles for learner-centered approaches. The first one is, of course, allow meaning making from information and experience. Experiential. Nabanggit na yun ni Sir Melvin kanina sa umpisa. Link prior knowledge with new knowledge. Lahat sila dadating hindi blank slate. Meron na silang alam. Okay? Kailangan lang nilang malaman gamitin yon para sa bagong matututunan nila. Stimulate critical and other higher order thinking. How do we do that? By the kind of questions that we ask our students. Ang objective natin eventually maging autonomous learners sila. Kagaya nung example ni Sir. Okay, kanina na meron konti na lang ibibigay mong instruction, alam na nila ang gagawin. And then last one, promote social interaction and guided practice. Kasi ang learning is social. Diba? Napatunayan natin dun sa activity rin natin kanina. And then final thoughts, your beliefs about teaching and learning matters. Ano yung klase nyo? Meron bang academic noise? Or noise lang? Magkaiba yon. Meron yung maingay yung klase kasi nagdi-discuss sila. Meron yung nag-iingay lang. Diba? So anong klase yung classroom natin? And then, when designing an activity, consider the pedagogy, the 21st century skills, and of course, yung pinakita na dimensions of learner-centered TVET. Expect all students to grow. Merong mabagal, merong mabilis, pero nag-grow sila. Okay. And then, support their continual growth. And I think for us teachers, it's important that we step back and reflect. Kasi that's the only way that we will know, nag-work ba to? Hindi ba siya nag-work? Paano ko pa ma-improve ang aking teaching? So I hope with the 50 minutes na magkakasama tayo, I hope mas naging clear sa inyo yung dinagdag natin na dimensions ng learner-centered STEM in TVET. So magandang hapon po sa atin.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am Rachel. And the time right now is 3:09. So we will now have a first health break. So you'll be back by 3:24. Okay? So 15-minute health break lang po. Okay, so the exit doors are the one there on the left, tsaka the one there on the side. Okay, so in case you want to go back, dito po ang dito po ang pasok sa entrance. Okay?
po, magising po tayo sa ating last part of the session of workshop number 3. So again, welcome everyone. Welcome to STEMFlix. Yan, magne-Netflix po tayo for today's session. So for our session series for today, for our STEMFlix session series for this part, we will be having contextualization of learner-centered approaches in TVET. So you can actually use this in your classes. The STEMFlix part, use the Panzoid application, and then I just use or adapt the picture or the layout of Netflix para ma-engage po natin yung ating mga Gen Z learners. So for our topic, we'll be discussing contextualization of learner-centered approaches in TVET. I am Assistant Professor Hazel Joyce Ramirez from the UP College of Education. But before we start our discussion or our session, let's start with a simple activity. You can go to slido.com or scan the QR code, and then you will be prompted to to answer the question, what are your strategies to engage students in learning? Your responses. So just keep your answers coming. I can see that one participant is already typing. Learning. So we have here games. Ayan, patok na patok po ito. So ano po ba tayo? Game-based learning or gamification? Because those two are relatively different approaches pero they share salient characteristics. Q&A, ayan. Paano Q&A po ba? Miss Universe po ba ang ating Q&A? Yan, nakakatuwa. Ang dami. We have here experimental, interactive games, simulations, contextualization, fieldwork, culture, pop culture, direct instruction, good visuals, and then we have games again. So just keep your answers coming. Again, as you can see, it's just like Mentimeter. You can use this in your classes to engage your students. And to some extent, ayan, ang daming, lumalaki rin po pala yung, yung font size kapag yun yung most recurring answer. So interactive games, experimental, we have here contextualization and hands-on activity. And I'm happy to say, to recognize that you are already have this potential to implement learner-centered approaches. So this is not something really new, but something at some point that you are already doing. And we have to be reminded that taking steps towards improvement means that you have to recognize and acknowledge your strengths and your areas for improvement so that you'll know what to improve. Parang sa love life lang po yan. You have to label things para alam mo kung ano yung i-improve. So it's good that you have these strategies, but definitely as we go through our discussion, I hope you'll be considering implementing learner-centered approaches and other activities related to this approach. Okay, so going back, and for our session, again, we will be having contextualization of learner-centered approaches in TVET. And just like any other Netflix series, we have our series synopsis. Di ba pag may nanood tayo ng Netflix, may parang summary din sa baba. So this will be our series synopsis. And nakalagay po dito, with contextualization, our students can soar high. Again, with contextualization, our students can soar high. And actually, I have 3 episodes here. So these 3 episodes are actually the outline of my presentation. First, we'll be discussing what is contextualization, then why should we contextualize, then lastly, how do we contextualize? So I just want to know your insight. What is contextualization, especially that is one of your responses earlier. So what do we mean by contextualization? Any insights? Ayan. So essentially, when we say contextualization, we start with what the students already know, their experiences, the examples that they know. And this is further elaborated in this definition that contextualization is an educational process of relating the curriculum to a particular setting. When we say setting, this is something to do with the environment, the immediate environment that the students are in that influences the examples they know on a particular situation. Situation has something to do with the experiences because we know the experiences allows us to have certain grounding on how we perceive things and or area of application. So yung ating training qualification in case of TVET to make together collectively this make competencies relevant, meaningful, and useful. At para matandaan po natin, I actually use 3 R's. Ayan. So, why should we contextualize? Ayan, na-excite po yung slide ko. So, why should we contextualize? I use 3 R's. First is, we make, in contextualization, we make learning relatable. Making learning relatable or relevant to learners. In contextualization, we connect the lesson to the experiences of the students, and research suggests that the relevance of the lesson has more implication or influences student motivation more than its intellectual value. Kaya mahalaga po na i-contextualize po natin yung mga tinuturo natin because we make things relatable to them. Next is responsive. In contextualization, it's being responsive to the needs and interests of the learners, making that strategy useful for them. In contextualization, we allow them to have opportunities to explore, to have their voice for their choices, and this could actually bring about student engagement and increase self-efficacy. And then lastly, we make things realistic. Paano po pag sinabing realistic? Ayan, authentic, di ba? Yung laging sinasabi kanina ni Sir Melvin at ni Ma'am Rachel. In contextualization, we make things realistic, meaning that we provide meaningful learning experience to the students in such a way that we make use of the real-world materials or activities and allow them to have to engage or practice critical thinking, problem solving, creative thinking. In this way, there will be more connections. And as we all know, neural networks, the more senses involved or the more connections there are, the greater the retention. Therefore, it would be stored in the long-term memory. And the importance of contextualization is reflected. These are actually the framework. By the way, I'm part of the core team of STEM in TVET. So, 3 years na rin po ako kasama ni Ma'am Rich at ni Miss May sa STEM in TVET program. And these are our frameworks. So the first one is the learner-centered STEM and TVET framework that we use for TESDA. And we actually have our version for TVL. And that's why we have the BED-P, PPST, and the Matatag agenda at the next figure. And as you can see, this emphasizes the importance of contextualization in learning. Since we already know what contextualization is and why is it important, perhaps you are curious on how do we contextualize? The answer is we soar high. Ayan. Soar high. So the first word is soar. Soar actually represents or could be related to the first step, which is empathize. And paulit-ulit po namin sinasabi mula kay Sir Melvin going to Ma'am Rachel, that's very important that you empathize to your students. When we say empathy, you understand and share the feelings of others, you understand their context. Alam mo yung hugot nila. Nakapagnilay na po ba tayo na alam po ba natin yung context ng mga estudyante natin? Ano ba yung mga hugot nila? Bakit ganun sila mag-perform sa klase? Or yung mga hugot na ito, pwede kong panggalingan ng aking strategies. And we have different activities for empathy activities. We have the SOAR analysis, which I will be sharing a little while. We have the empathy mapping and probing VET identity, which is the persona mapping. SOAR is actually an acronym, which stands for setting, organizational ecosystem, actions, and resources. When we say setting, we are actually analyzing the characteristic of the setting to be contextualized. Okay, when we say setting, hindi siya, may kinalaman siya sa environment, but we should not be limited with the physical environment. We have to identify ano ba yung characteristic ng place, people, and the process involved in contextualization. Ano bang meron sa community? Anong meron sa mga estudyante ko? Ano yung meron sa training qualification? Na kung TVET to, ayan TVL, ano yung training qualification na context nila or gusto nilang makuha after this training. Next one is organizational ecosystem. Yan, very science. Okay, when we say ecosystem in the field of biology, it is the interaction between abiotic and biotic factors. So essentially, when we say organizational ecosystem, the interaction between different stakeholders. So, syempre, alam nyo na yung setting. Ngayon, hindi mo dapat akuin yung contextualization. You have to determine who are the relevant stakeholders that you can partner with when you contextualize your approaches. Next is action. So alam mo na yung setting, meron ka ng relevant stakeholders, ano yung mga activities that you can use in contextualization? And then lastly, resources. Ano yung resources na kailangan mo to implement contextualization in your qualification? And ginawa po namin ito sa iba't ibang training namin. Actually, naka-apat na training na po kami on this. And dito, sa part ng SOR analysis, maraming napagninilayan yung mga teachers. I hope makapagnilay din po tayo. Ano nga ba yung mga bagay-bagay? Ano ba yung setting ko? Ano yung organizational ecosystem? What are the actions or activities that I can do to contextualize? And what are the resources needed? Kasi we know that it takes a village to raise a child. Therefore, it's not our sole responsibility to have a quality education. We have to tap relevant stakeholders. And the results of the SOR analysis serve as the foundation in taking the next step high. Ika nga, we don't just fly, we soar high. So the information from the empathy activity would actually guide and inform decision-making on what is to be improved pa sa inyong setting. Kaya tayo pupunta na dun sa next step, which is high. So ano po ba yung high? High is actually the elements for you to contextualize or to contextualize learner-centered in your qualification. First is hands-on. Yan. Ano po ba yung mga strategy natin to have hands-on activities? Paulit-ulit din po kami sa hands-on learning. So when we say we have to create hands-on activities or environment, we actively engage our students to promote authentic connections. Then we have innovative. Kanina ang ganda nung panel discussion. So innovative has something to do with being adaptive. Adaptive to trends, upskilling and reskilling, and at the same time, adaptive to the needs of our learners. We should be able to stitch together the diverse context and to optimize the use of technology. I use the word optimize, not maximize. Magkaiba po yun. When we say we maximize technology, pag may nakita kang app or simulation, sige, gamitin natin yan. Pero related ba talaga siya sa learning or baka naman natuwa lang kayo sa novelty? But when we say optimize learning through technology, you make good use of that technology to scaffold the learning process. Kahit simpleng technology yan, pero kung maayos yung pagkaka-design at pagka-embed sa learning, it could provide better learning environment to our students. Next is goal-oriented. Kailangan po natin yan. Dapat the activity should meet the learning objectives. And lastly, holistic. Kung maaalala po natin yung sinabi during panel discussion, it's not actually about thinking skills, but together with SEL. So hindi lang po dapat magaling kang mag-isip. Dapat marunong kang makisama. So holistic means that the activity should actually flourish. In educational psychology, flourishing means having that human capital development and hindi lang siya cognitive, may socio-emotional. So you are developing durable skills to the students. And then, actually, these elements of this hands-on, innovative, goal-oriented, and holistic elements are embedded in the learner-centered STEM approaches in TVET. So when we do learner-centered approach, we actually cater these elements. So after emphasizing, that's the SOAR analysis, you have to integrate learner-centered STEM approaches. And we have to be reminded that learning is not something done to the students. Anong ibig sabihin po nito, teachers? Hindi porkit nagturo ka sa unahan, natuto na yung estudyante. Learning is not done to the students. But what actually learning is something students actively do. So ibig sabihin that learning is a direct result of their interpretation and response to the learning experience. So dapat i-engage natin sila sa learning process. And for this part, we will be tapping on the dimensions, particularly authenticity of task and constructivism. And I just want to share with you the results of my research. I actually conducted a program evaluation of the STEM TVET, and this is what I was able to come up, the different issues. So yung mga sinasabi ko po ngayon ay base sa napag-alaman ko, base sa pagsasaliksik ko sa mga naging experience ng ating mga teachers and students. By the way, this learner-centered STEM approaches, this is not theoretical. We actually have 6 pilot implementations. And tomorrow, the first panel discussion, sila po yung nag-implement ng ginawa namin. And yung framework na po ito ay galing sa mga insights po nila na ayan, pinagnilayan ko kaya may ganyang framework po. So, I'll not be discussing this in detail but we can talk about it kung may time po kayo later. So, kaya ko po ito pinakita kasi yung mga sinasabi po namin actually na-recognize ng mga teachers and students na nag-STEM in TVET. Gumawa po kasi kami ng workbook tapos pina-deploy po namin sa kanila. At ito po yung sinabi nilang strengths ng STEM in TVET which actually mirrors the dimensions of learner-centered TVL or TVET. And for our activity, since hands-on activity, we'll be having our scamper activity. Ano po ba yung scamper? Familiar po ba sa scamper? Ayan. Okay. So at least first time po natin gagawin yung scamper. Ito yung isa sa mga favorite activities nung nag-pilot implementation kami, scamper. Scamper is a problem-solving technique used in design thinking. It is actually composed of several ideation prompts. Kita nyo naman po, sobrang daming prompts niyan. And this actually engages students to have divergent thinking. When we say divergent thinking, we open ourselves to different possibilities. And ano po yung mangyayari dito? So, ang pinaka-importante, let ideas flow. Kung ano pong maisip nyo, isulat nyo lang po. Magbibigay rin po kami ng mga post-its kung saan pwede nyo pong idikit yung bawat idea. Isang post-it, isang idea. So, and then, no negativity. Ay, teka lang, parang ano naman to, imposible namang mangyari to or hindi naman makatotohanan. Basta let your ideas flow. The basic philosophy, yes, philosophy po talaga. The basic philosophy of Scamper is that every idea is born from an existing idea. So just let your ideas flow, no negativity. And what is your instruction? The instruction is for 15 minutes, think of a product or a process within your program that needs radical change or innovation. When we say innovation, you try to change an original idea. Okay po? So, for example, kung nasa cookery or nasa BPP, bread and pastry production, paano kayo gagawa ng bagong pastry lalo na malapit na ang Valentine's Day. Ayan, ano yung ibebenta, ganyan. Or basta isip po kayo ng product in your qualification, use as a design peg the product or process that is currently existing. Kasi nga po, innovation. So you have an original product, tapos mag-iisip kayo kung paano nyo siya i-modify. Using Scamper ideation prompts, conceptualize a new innovation and create or propose a creative title for your innovation. Okay? So you're given 15 minutes to think of an innovation using Scamper. Go teachers! Ayan po. isip po kayo ng product, kunwari, ano po kayo, nasa cookery, BPP, OAP. Ayan, yun po yung mga pilot, ano namin pilot group. EIM, Aquaculture, CSS. Ayan. Pwedeng product, pwedeng process, pwedeng service. Ayan. Let your ideas flow. No negativity. Kasi kapag nag-hold back tayo sa idea, baka may magandang idea palang makuha doon. Again, no negativity. Let your ideas flow. Ayan, wag nyo muna pong i-hold back yung mga brilliant ideas nyo. Diyan po nagsimula yung mga innovators natin. It seems weird, pero ginagamit na po natin yung mga innovations nila ngayon. Ayan, may nakatapos na po, pero just keep your answers coming po sa iba. Pwede pong idikit na po natin. Then we'll be asking for siguro 2 volunteers kasi baka yung mga innovative products ay makatulong sa ibang regions or schools po. I-ask po namin, sir, yung mga coordinators para po makascape. From what region po kayo, sir? Region 3. Mga science po, school. Kailan ba ako mag-degree? September or November. Pero chemistry. Region 3. Hindi lang po namin alam kung saan sa region 3. Kasi sabi ng UST, region 3. Okay. Adin po. Pero may dun po pala ang sentro, hotspot. Ayan, so kapag tapos na po tayo, pwedeng i-post po natin. And those who are already done, bibigyan ko na po kayo agad ng assignment. Ayan, kasi tomorrow we will be redesigning. Yes, redesigning your session guides. That's why it's very important that at this point, meron na po kayong specific topic na may isip na i-redesign nyo. Para po tomorrow, less na po yung time sa brainstorming kung ano yung topic na i-redesign. For it to be more learner-centered. May template naman po kaming ibibigay sa inyo. Pwede rin mag-isip na po kayo kung may mga activities na kayo para mabilis po yung paggawa natin bukas. Kasi pag maaga po tayong nakatapos, minsan lang naman tayo pumunta sa QC area, makakagala po tayo. Ayan. Last 4 minutes. Three minutes po. Ayan. Palakpakan naman po natin ang bawat isa. Natapos po tayo sa ating scamper activity. And then, we'll be having 2 volunteers to share their insights. We have, dapat po pinapangalanan nyo po yung grupo nyo para po, may bonding na agad. Ayan. Sino pong gustong mauna sa table? Magic balls and ayan, Porta Pandesal. Okay, sino po ang gustong mauna? Ayan, magic balls muna daw po. So, all eyes po muna tayo kay ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon po. So, ang title po ng aming product is Magic Balls, mapapaaha ka sa sarap. Okay, for substitute po, what might we substitute? Okay, so we are all familiar with meatballs, and then instead of meatballs, we turn it into veggie balls. Okay, so we do not use meat, but instead we use veggie balls. Usually po kasi ito ang aming tinuturo sa grade 10 cookery subject po in particular. Okay, what might we combine this object with? Instead of using meat, we use mashed kalabasa with malunggay and other vegetables. We will not use meat or flour, but instead we will use kalabasa po, mashed kalabasa. And then adapt. Can we adapt it to a new purpose? Yes. It is more healthy compared to meat and more nutritious. Modify. Can we make some features smaller or bigger? Instead of balls, we can also make it as vegetable patties. Okay, pwede, instead po na yung karaniwang balls lang, pwede po siyang maging patty sa ating burger. Okay, and then put to another use. Are there other uses? Can we change? Okay, it can be served not only as patty na nabanggit po, pwede rin po siyang appetizer or finger food and snack po. And then eliminate meat, which is a big source of cholesterol. So instead of meat, we use vegetables, which is more nutritious. And then lastly po, reverse or rearrange. Yun nga po, it will turn as a snack instead yung meatballs na sinasog po natin sa mga miswa, ganun po. Yun lang po. Thank you po.
Ayan, thank you, Group Magic Balls. Now we have the second group.
And so, ang product po namin is for the pandesal po. Yan. Kaya po for kasi for sa kanila ng ano po yun yung sa gulayan sa paaralan. So gagamitin po namin yung resources po ng school na yon na maganda pong program for gulayan sa paaralan and ko-connect po namin siya sa feeding program at saka clinic program po ng school. One of the existing programs kasi is yung papainom natin yung mga babae, di ba, sa mga high schools ng iron. Tapos yung iron, yung mga vitamins and so, yung mga bata nagreklamo sila kasi hindi daw masarap yung gamot na yon. So ang gagawin natin, i-incorporate natin yung iron dun sa filling ng pandesal. Tapos po, isa-substitute po natin siya ng multiple o different na flavors na i-research po natin na in turn po dapat may low glycemic index o hindi po mag-increase ng insulin sa mga estudyante na posibleng may insulin resistance. Tapos naman po, dun sa, syempre, we will adapt by seeking the approval of the health unit and try to find options if we can have it vegan and gluten-free. Kasi may mga tao po na may gluten intolerance. Tapos po, dun sa different flavors yan. Then, also, looking for normal extracted na flavonoids and chemicals po from our gulay na i-isolate po natin para magkaroon po ng longer shelf life yung ating pong pandesal. So again, we are not wasting resources. Kukuha tayo ng funds and resources from the canteen, hitting both the feeding program and the clinic program para din sa sa mga programs sa school. Yun po.
Ayan, congratulations po, team, for the Pandesal and Magic Balls. Nakakatuwa na very innovative po ang ideas ng bawat grupo. And we allow our students to formulate problems and seek solutions. So I ask you to think of a given problem in a sense that you have this product that you have to innovate, and nakakatuwa na lahat halos ay kompleto yung scamper, yung prompts ng scamper activity. And at the same time, we can relate it to authenticity of task because we try to mimic what is being demanded in the cookery or FBS and BPP. Kasi sa qualification po na yan, ang isa sa mga bentahe ng estudyante is yung innovation skills nila. So dapat mabilis silang mag-innovate. And at some point when you did this, when you will be doing this in your classes, you try to inculcate the culture of inquiry and innovativeness to your students. And kanina pa po namin din sinasabi yung term na authentic task, authenticity. When we say authenticity, it actually resembles the student's future professional practice. This actually empowers students. How? Because this mirrors the challenges and the processes that they will be encountering in their future workplace, and this instills the sense of purpose. bakit ko nga ba ito ginagawa? Minsan di ba po may mga estudyante tayong ganon? Ako po, almost 10 years na po ako nagtuturo at tinatanong ako minsan ng mga estudyante ko, nabigla sila, 10 years na siya nagtuturo. Yes po, 10 years na po ako nagtuturo this year sa UP. So, ayun po, na minsan tatanungin tayo ng estudyante, bakit ko nga ba yan inaaral? But when we do authenticity of task, we instill the purpose of learning. Kasi nga, we try to mimic the future workplace. And ano nga ba yung anatomy? Ayan, very science. Anatomy of authentic task. First is the environment. You have to mimic the environment. Do you have enough resources or materials? The setting, yung mga setup ba? Meron ba tayong mga laboratory kitchen? Or sa mga nasa construction, meron ba tayong sa EIM and CSS? Meron ba tayong mga facilities that they will be using when it comes to the workforce or the workplace that we will be having in the future. Next is the sequence of tasks. Meron po kaming activity sa STEM and TVET na work process matrix wherein we try to outline the different processes tapos ipagagawa yun sa estudyante and at the same time may checklist siya kung confident na ba siyang gawin yon. Kasi minsan, ang tinitingnan natin yung totality, kung confident ba siyang gawin yung buong proseso. Pero baka pwede nating tingnan yung bawat steps ba, confident ba yung estudyante natin? So it's just a matter of rethinking how we teach. And then next is interaction. Reaction, demonstration, and problem solving. Interaction, not just with your group mates or with their group mates, but have you ever tried to have consultation with experts? Yung mga natin, yung mga nasa field work. Halimbawa, punta na po ba, meron po ba silang na-interview talaga na nasa cookery industry? Kasi when they have the chance to interview experts, they will be gaining valuable insights. The tips and tricks, kasi minsan, sabi ng mga estudyante, hindi tinuro sa amin yung troubleshooting kasi minsan, di ba, intuitive po yun. Pero kapag nakipag-interact sila sa experts, dun nila matututunan paano nga ba i-handle yung iba't ibang situation. And another way to have authentic interaction is industry collaboration. Nagkaroon na po ba tayo ng chance to collaborate with our industry partners? And as emphasized earlier, there is a mismatch between the curriculum and what is being demanded in the industry. And actually, lumabas din po yun sa study na ginawa ko. Yung mismatch, kasi nga kulang yung consultation between the industry and the educational institution. That's why it's very important that we provide our students authentic tasks so that they'll be exposed to these situations. And as we go about this authentic task constructivism, we are actually fostering learner-centered approaches. And we have to be reminded that learning is a dynamic and active process of discovery. It's a co-creation process. When we say co-creation, it's a collaborative inquiry. And this is something to do with the interplay of these factors. Kanina po, sinabi ni Sir Melvin at ni Ma'am Rachel, mahalaga na alam natin yung profile ng ating mga estudyante. We have to know the learner's characteristics. And at the same time, this will actually help us to design learner-centered pedagogies and learner-centered assessment. And we have to be reminded that learning is a set of personal and interpersonal interaction or activities that are deeply rooted with social and cultural context. Kaya mahalaga talaga yung context. And when this context changes, how people learn also changes. That's why we have to be adaptive. We have to be innovative so that our students will be equipped with the necessary skills needed in the evolving labor market. And how do we do that? We have to be mindful of this learner-centered education elements. Ito po, paulit-ulit po namin sinasabi para po ma-inculcate sa inyo yung importance ng active participation. You have to allow your students to actively participate in the learning process, engage in collaboration, learning by doing, hands-on activity, collaborative learning. Then we have relevant skills. Ito din po yung na-appreciate ng mga teachers and students who do the STEM in TVET. Yung relevant skills na na-inculcate sa kanila ng mga activities na pinagawa namin. So yung relevant activities, it's not just about the theoretical knowledge, but providing them the skills they need in the workplace. Then autonomy and metacognition, which is related to the earlier talk, we have to provide opportunities for them to practice independent learning inside and outside. Kanina nakakatuwa yung shinare ni Sir na independent learners, yung kanyang mga students, magbibigay lang ng konting instruction, tapos sila na yung gagawa. And at the same time, metacognition. Bakit po mahalaga ang metacognition? We have to reflect on our own learning. Learning how to learn. Ika nga. Kasi parang sa buhay lang natin, masyado tayong occupied sa mga ginagawa natin. But are we able to step back and reflect? Kasi when we try to reflect or engage in metacognition, that's the time that we have our way to determine which points should we improve. And then adapting to needs, basing the learning based on the prior knowledge of the students, their competencies and their skills. And then kanina, may shinare din yung participant natin na power sharing. When we say power sharing, hindi na lang tayo yung nagde-dictate sa klase. We provide opportunities for them to be involved in the decision making. Na-try nyo na po bang itanong sa mga estudyante nyo kung paano nila gusto silang gradean? How about magbibigay kayo ng performance task, may rubric. Were you able to consult your students? Ano yung insight nyo dito? Okay lang ba yung weighting natin dito na ito ay 50 points and so on? Meron ba kayong ibang aspects na gustong i-consider? Kasi when we try to engage them in that kind of process, pag grenade na po natin sila at nagreklamo sila, o diba sabi mo gusto nyo ganyan kayo gradean, so mababalikan natin sila. But that's just a joke po. Pero yung proseso ng power sharing, we capacitate our students kasi na meron silang hold on what they learn and how they will be assessed. And then lastly, formative assessment. According to the study of the World Economic Forum, one of the 4 trends in the evolving economy is using formative assessments in teaching, viewing learning as a process and not just a product. Kaya po ngayon, may mga workshops on formative assessments, kung paano siya ginagawa. And then, it's a matter of peer assessment din. So, kapag nagpapa-activity po ba kayo, nagpapa-peer evaluation po ba kayo from time to time? Iba pa yung class evaluation. Kasi power sharing yun eh. Hindi lang yung grade mo ang magiging grade nila, kundi magre-reflect kung paano sila nag-perform. Kasi ginagawa ko po yun sa klase ko, kaya sinasabi ko sa kanila, iba yung final grade nyong lahat, kasi nagre-reflect dyan kung sino yung hindi tumutulong. So again, that's power sharing and formative assessment. And these aspects of learner-centered approach are embedded in this learner-centered pedagogies. Familiar po with experiential learning? What do we mean by experiential learning? Ayan po. When we say experiential learning experience, ayan po, we immerse our students with the actual work, with the actual activities that they will be using in the relevant trade. And as you can see, para din makita nyo na talagang embedded sa learner-centered pedagogies po natin, yung 21st century skills, kasi hinahanap po sa atin ito palagi. And then the dimension of learner-centered TVET. And then we have here contextual learning using familiar examples and situations relevant to the learners. So we have critical thinking, openness, then ICT, then we have theory, practice, connection, and authenticity of tasks as dimensions. Then we have problem-centered learning. Ang common misconception po sa problem-centered learning, pag nagpa-problem solving ka, problem-centered na daw yon. Hindi po. When we say problem-centered learning, you provide students authentic and ill-structured situation where they will be providing solutions. Dapat real life yung problema na susolusyonan nila para makita nila na relevant yung learning. But what's the difference between project-based learning? Pag ba nagbigay kayo ng project, project-based na siya. Hindi po. When we say project-based learning, para rin siyang problem-centered, but the difference is you have a certain output on a given design challenge. Then we have inquiry learning. Ito very prominent sa science. Bakit po? Kasi inquiry learning, the heart of this is scientific method. Designing investigation to discover concepts. Ayan. And then we have here the 21st century skills and the dimensions. Design-based learning. Yung team po namin din sa system ay nagko-conduct po kami ng design thinking workshops. And in design-based learning, ito po ba ma'am yung basta nagpa-design, may arts or something? This has something to do with using engineering design principles. Ayan, yung matatag curriculum ngayon, science curriculum, ang added literacy ay engineering design principles. Pag sinabi po bang engineering design principles, kailangan po engineers, gano'n, may hard hat, computation. Actually, when we say engineering design principles, this has something to do with using design thinking process, yung empathizing, yung problem solving, generating ideas, and so on. And then we have collaborative learning. Yung thesis ko po, it's more on collaborative learning because there is value on collaborative inquiry. And then reflective learning, ito po, it's very important that you allow your students to reflect on their learning process so that they'll know what could be further improved. Then the last two, we have ESD. Ayan, familiar po ba tayo sa ESD? Lalo na 2024 na, SDG 2030. Nasa na ang Pilipinas? I also have a paper on this one. And just so you know, out of the 17 SDG, isa lang po yung on track tayo. Lahat po ay kailangan pang ayusin. That's why it's very important that in our classes, we promote SDG through ESD. It's actually using SDG to relate learning to the global needs or the social issues as springboard for social transformation. And then technology-supported learning. Ayan, very plurific po ang ating simulations kanina. Ayan, very important po yan, lalo na kung wala po tayong way to have the materials. And you can actually explore Tingling. You can visit this website kasi may mga virtual tours po sila na makakatulong sa mga estudyante nyo. Parang nag-field trip na rin po sila sa field. And that's again part of technology-supported learning. And to summarize our episode 3, how do we contextualize? Again, we soar high. First, we have to SOAR. SOAR analysis, determine the context and empathize to our students. Then followed by the HIGH, which is the integration of learner-centered approaches in TVET. And in summary, we have to be reminded that we have to understand the context of our students using the SOAR analysis. And from this, it could guide us to the development of learner-centered activities and assessment, which embodies the elements of being hands-on, innovative, goal-oriented, and holistic. And with that, with contextualization, our students can soar high. And po, thank you very much. Again, I am Assistant Professor Hazel Joyce Ramirez, and you can contact me using this email. And medyo maaga po tayo. Ayan. And as an assignment, please be reminded again that ngayon pa lang po, mag-isip na po kayo ng topic na gagawan nyo ng redesign lesson plan or session guide. Mag-isip na po ng specific topic at ang topic po na yun ay dapat TVET. Okay, so una, dapat isipin nyo muna anong training qualification o cookery, BPP. O dun sa curriculum guide, alin dito yung gusto kong i-redesign. Okay po? So, if in case you have questions, you can freely approach me. Again, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Ma'am Hazel. Hello. Okay, so just a few reminders na before we end the workshop, no? So meron kami dalawang important na Please attend the same workshop tomorrow, no? As your attendance will be checked. So sana kayo pa rin, no? So kung 40 ngayon to, the same 40 people that we will see tomorrow, no? Kasi nga your attendance will be checked po, no? So sana nandito kayo, no? Then ikalawa, there will be an exhibit viewing with raffle draws right after the workshop, no? Starting 4:30. Anong time na ba? Ayan. Starting 4:30 to 5:30 this afternoon, okay? Only those who get 4 stamps on their stamp card will be eligible for the raffle draw, okay? So may raffle po, okay? So did you keep your stamp cards? Kanino daw stamp cards? Kanino daw yung stamp cards bibigay? Kanino daw bibigay yun? Pagka ano na lang sila pag bumaba. Okay, kasi pagka bumaba kayo sa exhibit, no? Doon sasabihin nila, they will give the details po. Okay. Yan po. Okay. The venue of the exhibit is on the ground floor, no, of this building, no. So see you downstairs. For the online participants, no, thank you so much also for joining day 1 of the STEM in Tibet Summit. To get an e-certificate of participation, just click the link to the evaluation form that is found in the comment section of the UP NISMED Facebook page. So the evaluation link is only open up to 11:59 p.m. today, no? Sa online participants po 'yon. Okay? So we'll be ending our broadcast now and we'll see you again tomorrow for day 2 of the STEM in Tibet Summit. So you can now, so day 1 has just ended, no? So see you tomorrow and hope you visit the exhibits, no? See the robot. May robot, di ba? Magalaw-galaw doon. Okay, see the exhibits there, no?